We just had to restart our program, but we're back now live with you this morning as our community reels from what has been happening in Orlando, Florida overnight. At Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, at least 50 of our brothers and sisters have died overnight, killed because of who they love and where they were, which was at a gay club. Many allies have been killed as well, because at these clubs, it's not just about gay people. We have so many friends and other brothers and sisters that come to party with us. 50 people, probably mostly young people, out dancing, not a care in the world, dancing with their friends on a Saturday night, having a beer, are dead this morning because of where they chose to go for a beer last night. We're talking this morning with members of the Qualk Show, and the reason we're here is to envelop the community. We want to be a place for you to mourn, for you to talk, for you to be angry, for you to be sad, for you to feel a sense of community with others when our community has been so drastically devastated by the events of last night. I've stated this before, and that is, if you have a mass shooting in a shopping mall, it's a tragic event. Wrong place, wrong time. If you were killed in a mass shooting in a movie theater, it is horrific. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no targeted group other than people that were going to see the movie that night. This is a hate crime. This has affected only members and allies of the gay and queer community. This was a targeted attack on our brothers and our sisters. And we stand united and we rise up in order to support and help the community as we deal with this tragic event. Joining us this morning also, we have a friend of the show by the name of Heather, who has been directly affected by the shooting last night, knowing somebody who unfortunately has died. This brings it home for a lot of us. The people that say we no longer need gay pride, the people that question me as to why I do the things that I do, why I do Carol's Comedy Hour, focusing on LGBTQPI humor, why we do the Qualk Show, trying to normalize the gay family when most feel that we are already normal. This, tragically, brings us back to the fact that as far as we've come, we still have so far to go. This was a targeted attack on people for no other reason than who they choose to love. I've heard so many stories coming out of Orlando this morning, and one of them is that mother who was allied to the community and worked in the club, mother of a stranger, is still currently unknown if she's dead or alive. Her child may have lost a parent last night because she works at a club that serves gay patrons, queer patrons. My daughter could have woken up this morning without a mother because I decided to go for a beer last night, because I decided to go and click up my heels and have a dance. I could be dead this morning. And this is really what we're talking about today. We're talking about the tragedy that has occurred in Orlando, Florida. We're talking about how we still need to fight. We still need to be visible. As far as we've come, there's still so far to go. And, you know, I just have been reeling since I woke up this morning about this news, because 50 people, if those 50 people know 100 people That is over 5,000 people directly affected this morning without even going to the outskirts of what's going on after that. Heather, I'm glad that you're back here this morning. If you could just, I know it's a really hard morning for you. I know that you're reeling. I know that you've lost somebody that you cared about. And I just wanted you to touch a little bit on being in Orlando or being in Florida and what the feeling is on the streets right now, what the feeling is in your community, and how we can help going forward to help Orlando rebuild after this tragic, tragic event last night.
Sure. Well, I know basically everything I know is the same thing that you guys on news. But as far as on a local level, being in Florida, right now is Pride for all of our communities. Today starts off Pride in Pensacola. Pride is going on currently in Orlando, and we have a lot of events going on now. Typically in this part of town, you'd be much more afraid of Southern Baptists than you would be of any other religion. And I say that a little bit with humor, but I mean, honestly, I don't care what you say. There's radicalists of any faith, but there's fear. There's this what if, and unfortunately on our local news station, the comments have turned into Democrat and Republican and gun laws, and quite frankly, that's the last thing that's on my mind right now. It doesn't matter if you have a concealed weapon. Someone said, well, if just one of those liberals had a concealed weapons permit, no, if you know the Florida law like I do, you're not permitted. And this is the same in many states, to go in any alcohol containing. It doesn't matter if you're in a restaurant. You can't go to the bar portion of that restaurant if you are concealed and carrying. That said, there was a police officer who was in a shoot-off with this guy, and he went back into the nightclub. Omar is his name, and I really don't want to give him much credit, but the shooter, we'll just refer to him, I will personally refer to him as a shooter or as the terrorist, went back into the bar and retaliated, and at that point took more lives. So there was no hero situation to this incident. The fact remains that 50 people in the U.S. are now dead. And now it happens to be 50 are touched by some aspect. Now, my personal channel into this is not actually through the LGBT community. I mean, it partially is, but actually through the interpreting community. So a lot of sign language interpreters are also in the LGBT community, or very common for interpreters to be out partying with their gay friends, even if they're not gay. The person that I know of that was shot did. It's affected my in two ways. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted the people at home to understand that, this is off the cuff live this morning, and so please forgive any technical problems, but please go ahead, Heather.
Yeah, so, basically to answer your question, as far as how people feel, now I'm not directly in Orlando, and in fact, where I live on the Panhandle. I'm 8 hours away from Orlando. However, I lived in Tampa for 10 years, and that was about an hour and 45 minutes away. Uh-oh, sorry guys.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so can you guys see me still?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I spent a lot of time in Orlando, and also usually any national conferences we have as far as for interpreting is also held in Orlando. It's just a central part of the state. It's unbelievable. Orlando is a large U.S. Florida city. It's the hub. There's an international airport there. it's very hard to tell who are tourists and who are local. It's not hard to tell, but I mean, there's a lot of tourists that come in because they're coming to the attraction at Disney World. Yeah. So, this guy, the sick, deranged guy was from Newport Richey. He was American. He was born in the U.S. So, right now, you know, they're not saying if they know if it was a lone wolf situation, if he pledged allegiance to ISIS. There's been reports of that. But as we all know, in the very beginning stages, like it is right now, there's a lot of miscommunication that happens. I know all the U.S. Major networks are working together to get this all, to get the most accurate information out there so they can be the first ones to broadcast it. Meanwhile, on the local level, we're concerned with Pride going on. Are we safe?
Yeah. And that brings a whole other aspect of it to me, Heather. When you're, now that I'm realizing that there's actual Pride going on in this city, it fills me with a renewed anger, because did he target it knowing that this was going to be one of the busiest weekends of the year at the gay club?
I can tell you what we've heard from our local governor, who is not an ally for the LGBT community. I'm not a big fan of his, but he would be a total douche if he didn't actually speak on this situation. The investigative reporting so far that has come out is he's from Newport Richey, and his parents have released information, very apologetic for this, but that he was on in Miami. Newport Richey is not far from Miami, so he was in Miami and saw a gay couple kissing, and that's basically.
He was enraged by it.
He was enraged by it, and y'all, this is not related, and we're talking so serious, but right now my wife has to use the restroom, and there's a spider, and I have to tell you, it's one of the most. I've been trying to be so serious talking to you guys, and Sandra is freaking out that there's a spider. If you hear screaming in the background, realize that it is not actually a shooter, it's just a spider, and my wife really needs to use the restroom, so. Usually I'm a spider getter, but since I'm in this intense interview.
You know what, Heather?
Tell her hairspray. It suffocates the spider.
We do need a little humor this morning. If we ever needed humor, it's now. So,
she has cupped the spider. The spider is in a contained situation.
I repeat, the spider is contained.
He is contained. So we're fine. Right now. So,
my Facebook page is blowing up. I put out a couple of live streams this morning on Queer Families and Allies. I put out a live stream on my personal Facebook page. I've uploaded a video to YouTube, and they're just blowing up this morning. So, people are feeling this topic. People in our community are feeling it. Stephanie, you and I were speaking a little bit this morning, and I don't want to turn it into an us against them, but often we find that with the younger generation coming up, they don't understand how we got to where we are today. The fights that we had to go through, the trials and tribulations that us as the older queer generation had to go through just so that they can feel safe. And as tragic as this event is this a time where the next generation realizes that not everybody is okay with who we are as people?
Yes. The answer is actually yes. And I am a knowledge nerd, so I network with the best of them, and I'm constantly open to educating myself, and I ask poignant questions when I meet people, and I make sure that I have healthy discussions, because for me, I don't have this overwhelming need to go out and do Pride and be in everyone's face and like kind of do that whole thing, because I feel like I made my peace with that. I've done that, and I'm enjoying the benefits of being able to, put part of my due diligence into my community, and I'm taking a break by raising my children. And I knew that when I went back to that, it would be from a different perspective, with a different light, from an educational perspective, and less reaping the benefits of free, not free, but like, parties and waving a flag that was colorful and it was fun to be with my friends, and running all the ex-girlfriends and have all that goddamn drama that everybody has. And so, I can't say for sure. I have a polarized view of our community right now because I stepped back from the community events in order to, get it together for our kids. And watching it unfold is very different from actually being there. But I know that from being involved in the community, 10, 15 years ago, I had a clue because the people that were a little older than me held me accountable for it. And in Philadelphia, when we have Pride today, they will do a huge ceremony. We have a nice parade, but they get at the roots as to what happened here in Philadelphia in regards to the gay community. It comes from an educational perspective, and then you enjoy the fun of Pride. I don't really know for other cities how that goes, but in my experience being part of the entertainment part, it's about being prideful and being yourself and being in your face and enjoying that moment. But I think that what's happening is that our lower generation here in Philadelphia are missing that gap. Our only lesbian bar closed down a few years ago, and so now that they've infused themselves into the gay male culture in Philadelphia, which is nice from an inclusive perspective, there really isn't a place to capture that lesbian audience that gives them that safeguard, that gives them access to other, lesbian and queer, feminine, I don't even know how to, Jen, help me with that, queer spectrum ladies, and so
for female identifying queer spectrum people, I don't know.
Thank you. Female identifying queer spectrum ladies. So the younger generation is losing out on the lesbian or female side of the gay community. And I think they're missing the historical part. But they're also in many ways missing out on the cultural part, unless they're going to a city where something cultural happened and that the community itself is still serving it. I'd like to have some millennials, if you're watching on here. I see 8 viewers currently, so if one of you are actually within the 30 and under club and want to talk a little bit about whether or not you feel like you're getting the history behind the LGBT community and how that affects you in a moment when you hear like this, or if you feel like you're not and you don't feel like the community itself is educating you enough on where we've come from, and you see this and you just see it as just a mass shooting wrapped around with everybody else, I want to know about it.
Yeah, I actually had some comments on some of my feeds stating, these people don't just hate gay people, they hate all people. I want to caution everybody on jumping to the conclusion that this was an Islamic or ISIS incident. That has not been confirmed yet. All we know at this time is that at least 50 of our queer and ally brother and sisters are confirmed dead. For me, it doesn't matter who did it. It could be the Jolly Green Giant for all I give a fuck. The fact is that we have at least 50 families reeling today because their gay children, their gay parents or allies decided to go out dancing last night, decided to go out for a beer last night, decided to go out and celebrate Pride last night. And keep this in mind in all of your community prides as we go forward with the summer. As fun as they are and as much of a source of community as they are, we are still at risk for any lunatic to target a large group of us and pick us off one by one because he doesn't like who we choose to love. And that's the one thing that I would go on this morning.
Can I say something, Carol, though? We have to make sure that we don't let that stop us. Because if the fear stops us from going out and celebrating and we stay at home hunkered down because we're afraid of someone with a gun, then they win. That's the whole point. That's why they do these kinds of things. I think it's important to remember that, it really never was to be at Pride. I think we have this false sense of security, but there are a lot of people who still, from the, not just speak from a bit about how we.
Oh, we lost Sin.
Oh, we lost Sin there?
Yeah, I think we're losing her a little bit there, Carol.
Okay. Sorry, my phone is just blowing up. And you know what? I'm already, I posted a video to YouTube this morning at Carol Rosher, just kind of talking about this, and I'm already getting hate mail on it from people stating that, you know, God makes mistakes, and that's why we're here. And that you know, taking question with the fact that I said people died in a movie theater. Trust me, I am not saying that any one tragedy is worse than another. If you are one of the family of the people that were affected in that movie theater shooting, my heart goes out to you. If you were one of the people affected in a mall shooting, it is a tragedy with no rhyme or reason. All I am saying is that those are random events and random people. This was a targeted attack on the people of the gay and queer community. Okay, I would be speaking out the same way if it was a targeted attack on a play school where children would be playing. I would be speaking out the same if it was a targeted attack on a religious outlet that was, let's say, Catholics. That if someone completely targeted a group of Catholics because they are Catholic, then now I would be speaking out on that as well. I'm not saying that one person's life is any more important than anybody else's. All I'm saying is that if you were at that movie that night, it was completely random, and my heart goes out to you. If you were at the gay club last night in Orlando, Florida, at the Pulse Gay Club, it was random that you were there that night, but it was not random that you were targeted.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm speaking to.
I want to read this really quickly because I'm, yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to. Carol asked one question that I did not respond to, but I would say the biggest way to help if people are wanting to reach out or whatever. Of course, there's going to be multiple pages set up of GoFundMe. Please be leery and make sure you do your research before you donate any money. The biggest way to help, I believe, right now, currently, honestly, is to donate to your local blood bank, because they have opened this up as a natural or of a disaster. Then not natural, obviously, but since they've deemed this a state of emergency, avenues are now able to be open that wouldn't normally be. And right now, donating blood would be the most helpful, because there are already blood banks already sending blood, which means your community is also left, like, you know, if you needed blood.
Yeah.
So donate blood, whether it affects Orlando or your local community. That's the biggest way to help right now, because that is one thing, you know, aside from the ones that are dead, all the people that are injured as well. It's affected a great many people. So
you just took the words right out of my mouth, actually. I'm reading an article right now about how in Florida a company called One Blood announced that in a crisis where they have a need for all donors, they are accepting blood from all donors, including gay men, which in most places in our country, I mean, it's not everyone from a national perspective. My gay man come at me with that statistic. Gay men are still not allowed to donate blood. So One Blood is accepting blood from gay men. If you're in Florida, go for it. Get it done.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to see the bloodline donation lines. Erica Bennett, I guess she's a news reporter out of Orlando. She's at Erica, E-R-I-C-A, capital A-N-J-A-X. She shows a picture of the line gathering at the blood donation center in Orlando. It is wrapping around the parking lot. It's awesome.
That's amazing. Way to go, Orlando, and pull together during this crisis. Heather, I want to thank you for coming on this morning. You know, I'll let you go and be with your family and mourn in private. Thank you for sharing with.
I don't need to put my friend's name out there because I don't know who all has been notified yet.
I agree.
You know, it's just out of respect for family, and not that their family is tied into this, but just, I know not everyone knows yet. I agree. It is a male and someone in the interpreting community, and my heart is just broken. I'm affected, but not obviously. It wasn't my best friend. I can't even say that we were that close. but just that you know somebody is shocking.
Very shocking.
50 people out of the whole world, you know, one person. It's crazy. But anyway, thank you guys for inviting me on the show today. I wish it
Thank you so much,
for
Heather, for
happier
coming
reasons.
on in a difficult time.
Thank you.
Carol, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all for shedding light
Thank
on
you.
this. Really do appreciate it. And for the love and attention. And if I hear things, as I know things, Carol, I will let you know. In the Qualk Show,
Sounds
all
good.
of you hosts, I will let you guys know. But thank you very much for this. And be safe. Go out there and
Thank
be
you,
safe.
Heather.
Thank you.
too,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Heather brought up a really good point.
If you still have Chanel's Gmail, Stephanie, she would like to come on and she has something to say about what's been going on.
I'd love to bring her back in. Actually,
Callie-
if you can resend it to me, that'd be great.
Will do.
Callie was just saying something.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, Heather brought up a really good point. One of the things that I knew the minute that we started talking about this, I knew it was going to piss me off is they're going to go political with this. They're gonna
Oh,
go
God, yeah.
Republican, they're going to go Democrat, they're going to go Hillary, they're going to go Trump, they're going to go. It pisses me off when things like this happen, and all of a sudden it's a platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'm
it's
waiting.
It's not out of the genuine of their heart. It is the business of politics and the business of people that are thinking, okay, so this happened, so this is how we're going to spin this, and this is, I mean, their brains instantly start thinking about this, and it's just so sad that these hundred of people that we know about, I mean, and I will include the injured with the people that have passed, are now just a statistic for a political platform, for gun control, for whatever it is. And everybody has their stance on gun control, and everybody can say what they want. I thankfully was not immediately impacted by the Paris attacks, but I was at one of the places that was one of the corners. I had lunch there a couple months prior, and there are severe guns. There's no guns allowed in Paris, like period, end of sentence, and they still were attacked. So, I mean, gun control is a hot button issue, especially in all lines of politics, and this just pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, people making it about religious things. I mean, I'm sadly, I know people who would think that this was a good thing because of their religion, and that's horrible, and it's scary, and it's bad. But I personally know people who think that people who are gay should be dead.
Yeah.
And it's, you know.
Then why did
it's a
they
bad-
make us? If you fucking
Right.
think we should be dead, why the
Right.
hell did you make a gay child?
Correct.
The more you know.
Well, because these people believe it's a choice. These people believe that we have decided to go through public persecution, to go through coming out to our friends and family, to potentially losing our family, to potentially losing the friends that we've grown up with, to potentially dying in a nightclub because we decided to go dancing. These people still think that being gay or queer is a choice. And for anybody that is affected by this personally as a gay person or a queer person or an ally, you know we're not making the choice to put ourselves in harm's way, to put ourselves in a difficult circumstance. People ask me all the time, do you want your child to be gay? You know what? I will love her absolutely no matter what. If she's trans, if she's gay, if she's binary, if she's anywhere she falls on the scale, I will love my child to the day she dies. But do I want her to be gay? No, because I don't want her to have to deal with the bullshit and the politics and the heartache and the potential death that myself and the rest of my queer community have to face every day of their lives. Chanel, thank you for joining us this morning. I know that you have something that you need to get off your chest regarding this entire situation today.
Yeah, I've literally been awake for like 15 minutes, and I just, the devil is real. I mean, 50 lives confirmed so far, just senseless, because many of them were just friends that were out with their LGBT friends enjoying the evening on a Saturday night. How many families, parents, moms and dads are not coming home today, that they're gone because of hatred? You know, we're in 2016. How can the hatred, how can not understanding that it's not a choice, that it's not about religion, it's not about any of that. It's not about it. Just, I'm so disgusted and I'm so heartbroken that in 2016 this could happen. That in 2016 there is still this kind of hatred and this segregation and this belief that anyone within the LGBT community is not worthy of life and not worthy of love, and that someone could just walk in and do something like this. I'm so dismayed this morning and heartbroken and angry. There's not enough words in the human vocabulary to explain right now how angry and heartbroken I am.
I agree. And again, for anybody who wasn't understanding where I was coming from when I was comparing this to the mall shootings and the movie theater shootings, these are all tragic events that affect everybody. But my anger comes from the fact that this was a targeted group of people. And not only that, but I also have learned that it is Pride in Orlando this weekend, that it's the start of Pride. So my way of thinking is knowing that this was going to be a really busy night at the club, and more target practice, I guess, for sick minds that are out there. And this was a Latin night at the community, at the bar as well, which the Latin community already suffers greater with family commitments and religion and different things of that. It's much harder for people in the Latin community than it is for the rest of us. It's already hard for the rest of us to come out and be our authentic selves. So as Stephanie pointed out earlier, we have now brought down evil, they have brought down evil on a minority inside a minority. So it's just nothing. Any mass shooting is a tragic, horrific event. But when you specifically target a group of people based on their sexual orientation or their sexual identification, that is what hits home for me today. And that is what I want to bring to the people, because as far as we've come with gay rights in this country, this is a neon sign letting us know that we still have so far to go. Stephanie?
I want to show this to you because Hangouts on Air does not let me play the modules very well right now. But this is from my friend's Facebook page. She is a DJ for Kiss FM. She works the afternoon shift, actually, under Ryan Seacrest, which is great. So she is always on top of all the news, which I love you, Alex Gervais. You're the best. Alex on the mic, at Alex on the mic, if you want to follow her. But she just posted this little tidbit here, and I'm going to play it on my iPad because thank you, Hangouts on Air. You can be a little bit gray. But check out this line for the donation.
Up.
Look at
Put
that.
it up. The words are
You have to go up further because
hidden
your camera.
by our faces. You got to go higher.
There you go.
Go to the big screen again. Talk.
There you go.
Let me get this light out of the way. Oh, God, I love live TV. But let me play it again because that line is impressive.
Down. There, perfect. Don't move. Wow.
And that's the line for the blood bank?
Yep.
Way to go, Orlando.
That's amazing.
Way to go, Orlando.
Eat shit, shooter. Eat shit.
Yeah. And that's all we can do, you guys. That's all we can do going forward. We can't change the events of last night, unfortunately. All we can do is rise up as a community, hold our brothers and sisters in our arms, donate blood if you're even remotely in that region, so that we can help the people that are still struggling for their lives right now. There's 50 confirmed dead, but there's so many more injured that are still in critical condition, fighting for their lives in hospital. This number may go up, unfortunately.
And be
Hallie?
so weary about the GoFundMe's. I mean, I'm on Facebook right now, just kind of scrolling around. There is one that already has $20,000, and it says.
Be careful where you're giving your money to. I guess let's make sure that it's going to.
Right now, blood is the best thing and the most confirmed thing. And like Heather said, even me here in Oregon, I'm almost as far away in the U.S. as I can get from Orlando, but my blood banks in Oregon are sending them to Orlando. They're sending them to help stock, so I can go and do my duty here. I said duty.
Yeah.
And I would say that this is also a great opportunity, if your children are old enough, to talk to them.
Yes.
Jeff, you're struggling there. Are you okay, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Community and outside, you know, if you're LGBT, if you're just an ally, now is a great time to talk to your children and talk about acceptance and the need for loving anybody, regardless of their gender or their sex, any of that. It doesn't matter. The fact that this is happening in 2016, why? Because these people have a different sexual orientation than you, it was okay to walk in and open fire and take their lives. Why? You know, I think about my kids, and you know, I occasionally go out. What if, you know, someone could have been coming to knock on my children's door to tell them that their mommy wasn't coming home.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, is that these people just decided to go out for a beer, to go out and do some dancing, to maybe celebrate Pride.
Yeah, how many of those people?
They're not going home
one time
again.
a year?
They're not going home again. And so that's why we came live this morning, because I think that anybody with a heart that wakes up this morning will be affected by this, but especially the people within our community are extremely affected by the news in Orlando, Florida, coming out of Pulse nightclub this morning. And
I want to show you another picture. So Pride's going on right now in Philly, where I live. I'm so proud of my city. Bazam. So this is in front of Independence Hall right here, where our Constitution was signed. And all the people are gathering for the parade.
Nice.
And I love it. It's not stopping anybody. And actually, what's awesome is that all my friends that would normally not go are there.
yeah. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe our community was becoming a little bit disjointed. Maybe the older generation and the younger generation were starting to not care about Pride and different events like this that pull our community together, because we feel that we've gone past that. Unfortunately, this is a reminder smack dab in the middle of our face that we have not won the war yet, and that we still need to stand united as a community, and we still need to celebrate who we are, not because we're trying to shove it down anyone else's throat, but because we have no shame in who we are. We are proud to stand up and be counted as part of this still minority. Everything's just blowing up here on Facebook this morning. I think that, you know, hopefully those of you out there that needed a friend to talk to this morning, that needed to hear something consoling this morning, were able to tune in and share this moment with us live. I know that we are all affected by it. I know that we will continue to touch on this topic throughout the day. We will be coming to you live as more stories develop regarding this, as more people within our community share with us their horror over the events of today. And we will be back at you several times throughout this day to share and grow and hold each other as a community. I think that we should take some time now with our families to appreciate what we have, and that we didn't lose part of our family last night, that our children still have a parent to wake up to this morning, and that our children are still safe this morning. This has been a live Qualk Show edition of the Orlando shootings out of the Pulse nightclub last night. Thank you for joining us, and we will check back with you later today. Peace be with you, and go Orlando Pride.